Alright, you guys, this is a 5 coming 6-year-old, and he is a, how do you say it? Is it Berkshire? Berkshire. Berkshire? Curly and Foundation Quarter Horse Cross. He was raised by an 80-year-old, well, she was 82 when she sold him, woman out of Wyoming. His name is Two Crows, which is symbolic for amazing good luck. And he is probably one of the most friendly, playful, humanized horses that I've ever had. He's extremely well broke. I think he could work for an English or a Western rider. Right now he's got a little collection. He's kind of starting to drive from behind, you know, really kind of wanting to kind of frame up. I mean, but he's got that nice little trot. But I'll tell you that when he does trot out, he has a big, beautiful, long trot. Now, I would say this. I would say any adult or even an experienced youth can handle him, as he is not a dangerous horse. But Dylan will tell you that he is a playful horse. He means no harm. You saw him play with his head right there. I do think that he is going to be for somebody with a little experience, because he will play around and kind of be playful. I mean, this horse will be playful. He means no disrespect. With that being said, even if he means no disrespect, he's still a playful horse. I mean, it's something that he just kind of has a playful nature. I think that when you first saddle him, he can kind of just be playful. He's never like hogged it and broke in half or tried to be any kind of a bronc. He just has a lot of play to him. You can see that he... Dogs, get out of here. Go on, all of you. Jess said last night Charlie let himself out of the cage, and when she woke up, he was like tuddled in like he belonged there. She took him home and crated him, and he got out of the crate, and she woke up to him being like, "Hi, best friend." And this is really, we didn't work him through the trail course yesterday. This is his first day. Yeah, this is his first day. I couldn't remember. I knew we worked the dun horse. I couldn't remember if we worked him or not. Charlie, Skeet, get out of the way. This is a really fantastic young horse who just... Dogs. Bear. Charlie. Hang on. Go on. Go on. God, I'm going to have to quit. Come here to me, Skeet. Skeet. Charlie. Come here, Bear. Sit. The camera in this phone has not been, I've not been videoing off of this phone because the camera, the other day I videoed off of it and I couldn't get it to focus. I must have dropped it or done something because it's picking up weird light. He does. Like, this horse wants a lot of engagement. You're right. He really does. And if you watch him, he'll put his head down. He really pays attention. He's just he's a very uncomplicated young horse. Yeah, he wants to be pretty, like, playful, but he also wants to be good. Like, he just wants to have some personality. Like, and it sucks because you almost don't really want to get onto him for it, because you know he's just like, do you know what I mean, Dylan? It's like he's just playing. Any of you guys that have show horses that you've trained and you know how to get them to frame up, you know that this kind of work means business. But we've all had one that just takes... Oh! Do you see that coming? In a million years? I didn't miss it. Did you expect that in a million years? It's like he's played and you've not got onto him. So do you think he just was like, fuck you, Dylan? Go literally a venting vest. Do you know the one I'm talking about? The one? He's never bucked. And I'm like, but he's young. Like, he's just 5.
Yeah.
That lady said she'd done a lot of groundwork with him, and Dylan was like, I've got him riding around.
He was on yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep. It's just, here's the thing. I'm not even upset about it because, look, he knows he's in trouble. Look, he's like, oh shit, I think I'm in trouble. It's like he's been trying to play all day, though. Like, he's turned around, and not like in an ugly way, but I think that Dylan didn't expect it. Hey, I will tell you that was not a very hard buck, and we have bragged before about you being so sticky on some fucking broncs here. He said I was never expecting that. What lectures we can give him? No cookies for you, 2 crows. No cookies. Did you you never would have thought.
No, he's been so good.
He's been so good.
I think it's because they're feeding though, and
You've
it's windy as hell.
I don't give him any excuses. I think he should get like 2 rounds around the square. You know what though? I think that's probably why an 80-year-old woman loved him more than anything and sold him, because she probably spoiled him. And I bet if he did that with her one time, she never got on him again. But you can't be mad at a young horse for being a young horse. And this is why I tell people, you can buy a horse from an individual. Because Dylan and I both will tell you, as a honest to God thing, I would have probably let Lane ride him anywhere. I mean, I never would have thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is a young horse. And I hope that this is just a testament to you guys, that when you guys say online, oh, I want something under 8 years old, you're asking to get bucked off. And I know that sounds bad, but Bear, no helping. Bear, he loves to lunge. Bear thinks that it is his life's purpose to be a lunge whip. Come here, Bear. Come here, Bear. But here's the thing about it. This is why I try to tell you guys, like, it's important to do this part of it yourself when you get them home, because can you imagine? Here's the thing. There's not very many of my customers, based on yesterday, that I wouldn't have sold him to. You too. And then that happens, and then they call you and say, this thing bucked me off, you lied to me. No, horses will be horses. Especially young green horses. Bear Thompson. And I told Dylan earlier, he was proud of himself, wasn't he? You should have seen his little ears. When you came off, he was like this. Ooh, I got away with it. I got away with it. I got away with it. Bear Thompson. No, let me whip him real quick. I'm all right. I'm not scared of him. Bear Thompson. Bear. Get your fucking ass out of here. Come here, now. Lane, we got you dumped yesterday. But in everybody's defense, I would have told you that was going to happen had anybody asked me. Had anybody said, do you think Lane should go get on Fame? I would have said, only if he needs a doctor bill for his mom.
The only thing I'm going to say is I had no clue it was happening.
I didn't either. I looked up when I heard, when he made that noise, did your soul drop? Were you like, oh my God, what is this? Can you imagine getting on Fame? Can you imagine getting on Fame and being like, good boy, Fame, and the next thing you hear is the soul of Satan? And you're like, God, what did I do? It's like the TikTok that's like, and in that moment, I knew I had fucked up. The buckskin or Fame?
No,
Him.
Oh, yesterday?
Dylan, what part of this was a good idea?
Yeah. Dylan, we have questions. When you heard the soul of Satan come out of Fame's mouth as you were holding him and Lane was up there, what did you think? Oh no! Did you think?
His mama speaks English.
Dylan was thinking, please don't get hurt, Lane, so your mom doesn't
that bad. It's not that bad.
Don't tell mom. Don't tell mom. It's not that bad. He's like, Lane, shut up. Your mom is looking. Lane's like, my arm is broken. Dylan's like, it's fine. Spit on it. That's exactly.
I get a feeling that Dylan is this type of friend. If it would have killed him, he would have stood him up against the made him look like he was leaned back, fluff him up, and been like,
It's fine. Lane is fine.
how's Lane? Oh, he's fine. He's over there. See y'all later.
Lane is like, God, I'm going in the house. I just don't understand how come people have I get a lot of people that contact me and they think that horses are not dangerous. When I got my pelvis broke and got life flighted when I was like 18, I got bucked off. I got flipped over on by a 9-year-old horse I had owned for 2 years that my sister, who at the time was 4, had just climbed off of.
When I got my arm broke and my ribs broke and like laid up, it was off of a horse that I had been running barrels on for 6 months. That's why I didn't ride mares for 20 years.
I mean,
She
there's
was
some
in
too,
heat
though,
and
that
a
like-
stud horse nickered, and I'm gonna tell you, at that point in time, it was like deuce.
I feel like there's ones too, though, that don't even like fool you with just their
Okay, hold on a second, Dylan. We have some training going on in the comments. They said that you're the reason that Fame does what he does, even though you never touched him till after he had a problem, because obviously Fame runs when you try to get on him because of what you just did to this horse. Do you want... Dylan's like, can you be that stupid? Pick your jaw up. Here's the deal. Come here, Dylan. Seriously, come here. Here is the first part. She literally said that what you're doing is creating the same problem. Do you want to explain to this person, or do you just...
No, because those type of people
You'll never teach. So Dylan is punishing him for his bad behavior by keeping his feet moving. And what he's going to do as a reward is he's now stopped his feet, let the horse relax, and he's going to get on him in a relaxed state so that this horse associates him mounting with a relaxed state. And what Fame needs is more of this, because what Fame needs is every time he goes to get on him and he moves his feet, for him to make his feet move more so that he's craving the stop. Right or wrong? Am I wrong in that? Fame needs his feet to move faster because he should be punished. And I don't want to use the term punishment because I think that people associate that with like pain but I mean, what this horse now knows is when I stop my feet and I'm well behaved, he'll get on me and we can stand here and it's a reward. Do you see how relaxed this animal is? Because the work has stopped. The reason punk ass here just did what he did to Dylan is probably because he was owned by somebody just like you. Somebody that went, oh God, I bet you have kissing spine. Or, oh God, my poor baby, something's wrong. That's why no, he is a young horse. And since the history of time, horses have bucked people off when they're young because it's just like a kid that tests their boundaries to see what they can get away with. This is this horse's maybe 5th ride. She ground drove him. So he reprimanded him for the bad behavior, kept his feet moving, redirected the direction back and forth of where the horse was going, and now that the horse has stopped and started thinking with the correct brain, the correct side of his brain, his feet are no longer moving, and the reward is fast. And Fame needs more of this. Fame needs this every day because Fame has learned that moving his feet is fleeing. What Fame needs to learn is that moving your feet is a lot of damn work. The problem with Fame is you can't wear that bastard out. Dylan's going to have to take him home and do it for 3 hours, I bet. But you can teach people like that, and they need it because horses like this end up in the kill pen because they're owned by people like that. They want that positive reinforcement and give him a cookie when you got off the ground because he didn't run from you. That means he didn't mean it. So here's the deal. If you want to be a stupid human being, we've set boundaries to stupid people, and you get to go to TikTok and teach people on TikTok how to train, but you're not going to hang out in my comments and be a dumbass. Now, if you genuinely don't know what we're doing and it's confusing to you because you're like, well, I would buck you off too if you made me work that hard. Guess what? You're also not a horse. And let's start with the fact that horses were bred to be work animals, and a horse with no work ethic is worthless. Because a horse with no work ethic will hurt you when they've decided to stop working. When they've decided that they no longer want to do it and it's not their idea and they've had enough of Miss Patty, you know, who's bouncing around in the saddle with her legs flopping everywhere. They've had enough of it because she's been on them for 30 minutes flopping around. They buck her fucking ass off and hurt her. That's what happens. But a good horse with a good work ethic has a lot of patience and will take a lot of stupidity from stupid people. And unfortunately, I don't believe in teaching humans to speak horse. I believe in teaching horses to speak human so that when they leave this property and they get bought by a Miss Patty, they can tolerate Miss Patty's lack of ability. Lisa, ban user. Well, -1, Dylan. And do you know why horses end up at slaughter? Because of stupid people like that. And you know what? Then horses like this get deemed dangerous because they bucked Dylan off. Dylan, how many horses have you trained in your life that bucked you off at least once that went on to be the best horses you ever owned?
Wow.
Lots. And I bet a lot of people watching this who would say, my horse would never, probably did to somebody else, and you just never saw that side of them because you didn't own them as a 5-year-old with 5 rides. You owned them as a 12 or 15-year-old that was solid.
Good, you. Hey, can I call you right back?
Dylan's like, oh God, are there really people on your page that think this is abuse? And I'm like, there are people on my page that don't think it's abuse, but they need attention. That are 250 pounds and have no more ability to actually ride a colt than that fence post and have no more idea of what they're talking about than that fence post. But they need to virtue signal to you that they're smarter than you are, so they get a little endorphin and feel good about themselves in that 2 seconds. Well,
They can fly down and ride him.
that big bitch couldn't get on him. We'd have to go get the step ladder. Fuck her. You don't see me fucking criticizing Dylan's ways. I'm not gonna do it. Oh, he said, I got away with it and you fell off. And let me tell you another thing, Dylan and I will explain to you. You can have a horse that's never bucked a day in their life and they will get fresh and buck. And it's the worst thing that happens. Why? Because they've learned they can get you off. And then it has triggered in their brain that to get out of work, the rider has to come off. So now guess what? You have to make more work for them without the rider so that they learn that it's easier to just accept the rider. So TikTok trainers and Facebook trainers, shut the fuck up. I know, but I'm still not going to do it because I weigh 158 pounds and my 3 foot tall, 58 pound ass hits the ground like a sack of bricks. And truthfully, it's not the colts that I'm scared to ride because I expect for them to buck with me, so I'm prepared. It's the assholes like this one. And there are humans out there that are spiteful enough that they will let this video right here be a reflection of this horse for the rest of his life. And wherever he goes, it will follow him that he bucked. And that's another thing that people need to stop doing. I can't tell you how many horses we've had that got sold to the kill pen and ended up in the kill pen because, let's say, Dylan owns it now and he puts it for sale. 2 owners ago, it was owned by a Miss Patty. Miss Patty gets on there and says, Dylan Fox, you are a crook because this horse is a bronc. And Dylan will say, but I've owned it 6 months. It's never bucked with me. What are you talking about? This horse broke in half and hurt me. When? 2 years ago, and I have it on video, and I'm telling you that you are a horrible human and are going to get somebody hurt. And Dylan is shocked. And does it not happen on Facebook all the time? How many times have you seen somebody post a horse for sale and a previous owner, and it's not even the one that person bought it from, will get on there spouting about, I used to own this horse. Well, you know what? I used to be a shit human being too. And now I'm 36 years old and I'm a mom, and I'm actually pretty damn proud of who I am. But just like a young horse, it takes a lot of life lessons and a lot of training and a lot of Jacob telling me I only have one functioning brain cell and it's Dara. Dylan's dying over there. For me to get the point. See, he's lazy because the moment you say whoa, he's like, yeah, whoa is great. But now we have an issue because the truth is when you don't expect to get bucked off and you get bucked off, now the horse knows he can buck you off. And the truth is it's the mouse effect. You know how the first time you put the mouse and after 30 seconds it starts to drown and you save it? Well, then the next time you put the mouse in the water because it knows that somebody will come to its safety, it goes like 16 hours swimming because it knows somebody will eventually come get it. So the truth is, what he's now learned is he can get Dylan off. So now we also know that the next time he breaks in half, it might be harder, and Dylan's going to have to be prepared and stick him and wear his ass out for it, and then we can move on and he'll probably never do it again. And that is what I know about horses. And if you can avoid that, good. It's a hard thing to avoid. Because see, when he stepped back up there, what was the first thing he decided? I've got a hump in my back. And the next problem is because I don't have a round pen with soft ground, Dylan had to step off of him. And that's a bad thing too, because now he knows I had a hump in my back and he got off of me. So what Dylan tried to reiterate is you might have a hump in your back and I got off of you, but I'm going to work the shit out of your feet for that hump in your back. So now what we have to do is lead him forward and get on and off of him with no hump in his back. And then the reward is you're done because you didn't buck with me. That's why training colts is not a 30-day deal. When people send horses to a colt starter for 30 days and expect a horse that rides, I'm like, you have a horse that can turn both directions and stop, but you don't have a horse that's mentally prepared enough to go be a solid horse. And you're asking to get hurt because you probably don't have the tools in your toolbox to fix any issues that are going to arise on day 45. It takes 6 months for a colt breaker to break a colt, in my opinion. In 6 months, I think then they've worked enough that you have an idea of what they really are. I've had some good motherfuckers for like 60 or 90 days, and the workload increased, and they didn't want to do any more work than that basic shit we were doing breaking them. And they got dirty, nasty on day 95. Because now the workload increased. Because now we're loping circles. Now we're going to challenge your feet and ask for a lead change. Now we're going to do something that requires like maximum effort of your pea brain. And see, the problem with me is people don't want me to call them a pea brain. But when I've spent 90 days with you and fed you and loved you, and you decide to buck me off on day 95, you're a pea brain. But my husband also told me today I had one functioning brain cell, and it was Dara. And so some of us like tough love. Some of us need to be talked to like that, or we would run our husband over and go. I mean, I couldn't be with a soft man. I need a big daddy. I need a big daddy. He didn't say no. And if you don't like my verbiage or our training methods or the way we do things here, how about you just not watch? What?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I thought you asked if I...
Now, do you want me? Do you want somebody to hold him while you get on him? I will. Here, Jess. Stand up. Yeah, no, I'm not. I've already broken the I just, this is really bad, but I have missed all of the entertainment. I might be hopeful. The Force. That's cool. Hello, people. Hello. You say hi too, Lane. Say hi.
Jones just hanging along.
I feel like even this would have been helpful for my goat tying practice. But, no.
How? Bro, you know what I always did? Kick both my feet out straight and just hung on the floor. Till I got up and off like evil from evil. My feet were already speeded up.
Showing the camera some views. It does. They said hi, Jess and Lane.
Oh, yikes.
You too, Lane.
Yeah.
Flying Lane. Yes, Flying Lane. That is right.
Superman.
Lane, who likes to fly 2 stories high, because he just decided to.
Lane's feet were over my barn. His feet were in the air and the head was headed. Man, it felt like I was an airplane and the motor kicked off and I was like, oh.
Just nose diving. Oh, I hope we get to keep doing what we're doing for a long time too. It's amazing. Will you turn that water off?
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, no.
Oh yes. Are riding hats like helmets? We would love helmets. Some of us may need to them 24/7. Oh no. A little too often. Yeah, his bones are still a little bit flexible.
Lane,
Yeah.
he just bounced off of concrete.
He's just like, wow, okay, we're back to doing our thing.
No, it's okay. I mean, when Dylan first got back on him, he wanted to intimidate Dylan so that he wouldn't get back on him. Look at him now. He's licking his lips and he's like, damn. I honestly don't think he's a bronc. I think he thought he could get away with it and now he's shocked.
Yeah, and like that tarp's blowing up.
At the
All
pool
that
noodle.
stuff
He
is
like
going
looked
on.
at the pool noodle and then everything inside of him went, it's a snake!
He said, bye guys, bye. I'm thinking, if you guys want that to eat you, that's okay, but not me.
Here's the deal. Nobody got Lane hurt, and the comments like that are kind of passive aggressive. I'm glad you didn't get Lane hurt. Lane is a 16-year-old boy. And I think the adage that doing dangerous things safely with your children is how you teach people. And Lane was in a enclosed environment on a horse that I wouldn't let my kid on. But Lane is also a 16-year-old boy, and there's a lot of boys out there that at 16 years old are breaking colts, that are riding the buck out of them. The difference is that Lane has just never been allowed, because Dara does not want that, and I respect that, for him to break colts. She doesn't want him bucked off. She doesn't want him hurt because he got hurt when he was younger and was in the hospital. So listen to me when I say a 16-year-old boy going behind his mom's back and being like, hey, I want to help. Yeah, I want to help, is just average. I mean, obviously you never raised a 16-year-old boy in the country if you haven't gone and scraped them off the ground at least one time for doing something that you didn't approve of. His mother didn't approve. I didn't approve. Dylan is a boy. Dylan, how many times did your mother scrape you off the ground as a 16-year-old boy doing shit that she probably didn't want you to do? A couple times. A couple times. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the truth is, it probably won't be the last. And Daryl will chew his ass and tell him no and tell him bad, tell him. And he's a 16-year-old boy. Like, when I was 16, I was like dying in a field somewhere of like overdosing on liquor and tequila and like needing to call my dad because I thought that I needed to be drove to the hospital. Like, so Lane is a great kid. My dad wishes. I'm telling you that I never really partied a lot, but where I lived, it was like always out in the country. Yeah. And it was like always homemade moonshine that they had put in a cooler, and it tasted really good. And because I never drank, I would always get overly drunk and then like die. Like my soul would leave my body in a field in the middle of Oklahoma. Okay, if you're gonna comment things like that though, that say like, I agree, mind you, if I wore my helmet more, next one will kill me because of trauma. Listen, most people in the Western industry don't wear a helmet, and you're not gonna come on my platform and tell a stranger what they need to do. If you want to wear a helmet, none of us are making fun of you for that. Like, I wear a helmet when I run barrels because I want my daughter to see that. I want Marley to see that so that when we go do fast things, because a horse could fall, I want the girls to see me doing it so they're not embarrassed to put their helmet on. They can't say like, well, Tara doesn't do it. Well, my mom doesn't do it. So I wear a helmet when I run barrels. But what I will tell you is on my platform, you will be silenced and you will not get an opinion here if your opinion is telling other people how they should live their life. If you want to say, hey, by the way, I wear a helmet because I got hurt. Oh, I'll tell you, me too. I wear a helmet when I run barrels because, well, I'm fat and, you know, in case my horse stumbles, I want to make sure that I'm probably going to fall off because I'm too fat to catch myself and stay on. So me too. I have a helmet, and I want my daughter to know that helmets are not, you know, she's 3, Marley's 7. Now, am I going to make them wear helmets to tootle around the barn? I'm not. But that's my choice as a parent. That's Dylan's choice as a parent. Dylan's an adult. So I think it's okay to normalize that if you want to wear a helmet, here's the thing, right? You want to wear a helmet? We're good. Jess feels like she needs a helmet.
Walking around.
We're good. But here's what I am going to say. We're not going to tease Jess for wanting a helmet. We're not going to tease me for running barrels and helmet. We're not going to tease you for wearing one. But you're not going to make shaming type comments because Lane won't wear one or because Dylan won't wear one. Dylan, I do want to get you one of those eventing safety vests just because I think it would be funny. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
The only problem is the CO, so when you do fall off and you have to send it off and it's $70. But I don't know because that's in the UK. The ones I found are from the UK. So I'm like, what the crap? You have to have cartridges in them, so that when you fall off so then you have to deflate them and put the cartridge back in them. What I wanted to know is if you have that cartridge and a horse kicks you or something and it busts that cartridge, is it going to blow your hip off? I have questions. I have questions that are beyond the normal brain.
What if it kicks you too and kicks you in the rib or something, your shit hurts and it blows over? You're like, ah!
Yeah, what if...
Get it off!
Jess Jacob said that there's one functioning brain cell on my property and it's not ours. And the thing is Jess and I are okay with that.
Maybe we can work one together.
God.
But we know it, so that's okay.
I've seen people wearing a helmet and a safety vest at an eventing fall off and break their neck. So I don't know. I think that if you're concerned about being hurt, horses are not the proper hobby for you. Yeah. All right, you guys. So Two Crows is beautiful, and he's going to continue to get work constant because he got dumped off at the sale barn because he was too much for an 82-year-old woman who did lots of groundwork. Dylan will tell you all the groundwork is there, and you can tell that she ground drove the piss out of him because in a straight line he has a ton of forward impulsion, and that's from somebody that's drove him. So on the ground now, I wonder how many years she drove this horse, and then she did not have the courage to get on, and I bet when she did get on he bucked her off. And the thing is, that's a young horse, and people will say, oh, do the groundwork still is not, it's like the safety belt. It might really prevent 9 out of 10 things, but there's still a chance that the safety belt can't save you. I'm not talking about the safety vest, normal safety vest. I'm talking about the ones that have the cartridges in them. Oh, Ann said you can buy the cartridges now and replace them yourself. They have a string. You put the vest on. No, you attach it to the saddle horn, and the string is about this long. And when you come off, it pulls the cartridge in the vest, and the vest goes. Yeah, they are super cool. I think if we got you that vest, a helmet, and a bronc riding neck roll, we don't need the pond anymore. As I was looking earlier, I was like, you do realize this is a death trap. We have a cinder block. We have a gap for broncs to run down. We have these, even right here where it's super cushy, they go underground. So technically right there is also, this is a death trap. That gray mare, the first time she bucked with you right here, I thought she was going to duck down this alley. I thought Dylan was a fucking goner. Let me tell you, the first time he came out here, I'm like, listen, we've already rode this mare. Brandon got on and off of her, and she was green, but she's a really good girl. Dylan's like, okay, no problem. So he pulls her head around, steps on her. She takes one step, and this bitch at the top of the hill goes, and she lands from up there. You know what it reminded me of? Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, where she dives off the diving thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? When that